Do you ever feel like you are stuck replaying the same thought or same annoyance again and again? What if that repeating thought or repeating feeling is actually your mind waving a flag to get your attention? What if it's an important clue about something of value that's happening inside you? If you can get outside of that stuckness in the thought and observe what it might actually be pointing to. So today I want to point out three things that I think might actually be going on there beneath the surface. Three things that might be important for you to look at. So the first one is value misalignment. If something is kind of annoying you more than it should, or you keep thinking about it again and again, it could be that one of your core values is being pushed against. So, for example, let's say you're someone who really values fairness. Then, if someone at work takes credit for your idea, you might find yourself kind of unnaturally annoyed, right? Like it's really hard to let go of that. Well, that makes sense if one of your core values is fairness. This is not fair, right? So that's not a way of excusing what that person did, right, by taking credit, but it's a way of noticing, oh, that's why my mind is doing this. That's why my mind is looping here and really trying to get my attention to say this is not okay, because it's really important to feel aligned with your values. Right? So then you can ask yourself, is there something I can do here to promote fairness? Is there something I can do here to champion my values? Number two, it could be that you have an unmet need. There's some core need. Humans have a set of core needs that we're always trying to get met. Pretty much everything we do in life is to get a need met, right? And often they're really basic things like to be loved, to feel safe, right? So let's say that you've been working really hard to fit in somewhere. You've been working really hard to care for people in a group, and you still feel like they're treating you like an outsider. They're not really letting you in. You're not really part of the group. And then you keep ruminating on that. What's going on there? I feel so annoyed, right? Well, what could be happening is that you have a core need for belonging. That makes you feel safe. That makes sense. Humans are social animals, right? We want to feel like we belong. If we belong in the group, then we're safer. If we're an outsider, then we're more likely to be left behind or cast out, and we have to fend for ourselves, right? So that's a very real thing, the need to belong, the need to feel safe and secure. So, you know, even though nowadays there is more of a safety net in the modern world, like we can pay for services and pay for things to support us, right? There's still this kind of ancient part of us that worries that if we're cast out of the group, we're out in the wilderness, right? And we can't survive on our own. We need our people. Right? So if you see it that way, there's a reason why you're freaking out so much. There's a reason why you're so hung up on, do I belong or not? Because that's a core human need. And the third possible explanation is the family that you grew up in, trauma, and just past life experiences. So essentially, what can happen is sometimes when you are really caught up in something and it feels like you're kind of more worried about this than you should be, or you're having a bigger reaction than is reasonable for this situation, it could be because a part of you is time traveling to the past. There's something, the brain is a pattern matching machine. And so there's something about this situation or something about this person, something about this that reminds that part of you of something really bad that happened to you a long time ago, or something really hard that happened, or some dynamic with your parents or the family you grew up in. Right? So, for example, if a friend cancels on you last minute, and for some reason that's really riling you up, that could be because maybe, say something in your childhood where, you felt abandoned by your parents, or you were worried, am I really going to get my needs met? Do they really care about me? Am I really loved? Um, there are all sorts of different ways that could have played out. But my point here is to give yourself compassion that small events like that, like, oh, sure, it's just a friend canceling, no big deal. But sometimes we have disproportionately big reactions to that. And that's something worth noticing to say, why is that happening? Oh, could it be because of that experience that happened when I was a kid or when I, earlier in life at some point? And, um, that's just a way of better understanding that it's not that you're malfunctioning in some way or you're weak in some way. It's that your body, your psyche, your mind is having a response that makes sense based on your past life experiences. So it's not just coming out of nowhere, right? And then once you understand, oh, it's because of that, it's because of this childhood thing, then there are different things you can do in that situation, like caring for your inner child, thinking like, oh, there's actually kind of this younger part of me in there that's really scared right now. Sure, it's just a friend canceling, but there's a part of me that really thinks it's kind of like being abandoned by mom or, whatever it is. And so then you can take a moment and just kind of offer yourself reassurance. I'm safe. If your mind was time traveling to a time when you were more dependent on parents and it really felt like life or death being abandoned, right? Then that part really needs reassurance right now. And that's okay. It's not a sign of weakness or anything. It's actually a sign of strength to understand where your difficulties are coming from and to care for yourself. Right? So, again, those three things that might be happening, among others, are that there's something pressing against one of your core values. There's something, there's a core need of yours that's not getting met. Or there's something related to your life experiences, trauma, or the family that you grew up in. So I hope that just learning to slow down, take a step back, and notice what's happening for you in that moment can help you better understand why you're feeling activated or agitated or really ruminating on a thought. It's not coming out of nowhere. All right. Hope that helps, and I wish you a nourishing day.